Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I want to talk about the top 10 aquatic dinosaurs and reptiles in the entire Jurassic Park franchise. So before I go ahead and begin, I want to make it clear that the creatures that I've picked for this list are not all going to be coming from the Jurassic Park movies. If I were to choose what few water-based dinos were featured in the 5 current films, this wouldn't end up being very fun. Not to mention, there would be no way it could even reach a top 10. So these animals that you're going to get a countdown for come from every corner of the wider franchise. This includes comic books, video games, and even JP toys. Hopefully this can introduce some new fans to some of the stories that exist outside of the popular film canon, and help them get a better sense of how big the Jurassic series really is. Now, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and begin. Number 10. Ichthyosaurus. So the first animal that we have on the list actually almost made it into Jurassic World. Some of the storyboards for the Mosasaur Lagoon that was featured in the 4th movie show the creature swimming around those waters playfully. Unfortunately, they never made a physical appearance and have instead only shown up in a few games and toys here and there. That being said, it's still a pretty iconic marine reptile that I'm sure a lot of people would love to see. With its body looking more like that of a prehistoric dolphin than anything else, I think it would make for some really interesting aquatic scenes that channel that awe and beauty Jurassic Park is well known for. It's definitely the most elegant looking creature on this list that won't think about killing you immediately. So yeah, it would make a cool addition for sure, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Number 9. Baryonyx. With its first appearance in a film being a pretty cool riff on the alligators in the sewer myth, it's no wonder this crocodile-looking dino wound up on the list. But I still think a dedicated aquatic scene would work wonders for Baryonyx. These guys had a fish-heavy diet after all, so they're no stranger to getting in the water. The hooked claw at the ends of their hands and the elongated snout make for an incredibly unique design that could be thrilling in another movie. Baryonyx is also one of the only dinosaurs in the franchise to actually have had a life that was built for living around bodies of water. It's also not a reptile, and in fact a true dinosaur, which is a little rare if I'm being totally honest for Jurassic Park. It's become iconic in video games, on websites, and even in the films themselves. It definitely deserves its spot on the list. Number 8. Tannis Trophy. Here's a creature that I'm sure most older fans will instantly recognize. While Tannis Trophy has pretty much been rewritten as not being that aquatic at all in the modern day, Jurassic Park's toy version of the animal was well known for being a long-necked fish eater. The back of its trading card specifies that it would have used that long neck to prey on its food in water-like habitats that it dwelled in. And since it was believed to be kind of aquatic back in the day, I really couldn't refuse putting this guy in the top 10. Mainly because I love this animal. This was actually one of my favorite Jurassic Park toys as a kid, and it's a creature that I think looks radically different from many of the other flipper beasts that will show up later on this list. Plus, again, I think it would make for a really unique movie scene. Number 7. Suchomimus. Being one of the most sought after and kind of underrated dinos in the franchise, it was only a matter of time before I talked about this guy. After Billy brought it up while going over some of the dinosaurs on InGen's list in JP3, I really wanted to see what the movie version of this thing would look like. Sadly, that has still yet to happen. But we do have a lot of similar designs that give us a decent idea of what it might just look like in a movie. Blue and yellow in color, with a long, thinner snout than that of Baryonyx, and a much bigger build, Suchomimus is one of the coolest looking aquatic dinosaurs of not just the Jurassic World franchise, but also the fossil record in general. It's appeared in a ton of video games, viral marketing content, and even existed in the theme park itself during the 2015 incident. I know a lot of people that would love to see this animal make an appearance in the films, and honestly, I think it's about time the filmmakers made that happen. Number 6. Elasmosaurus. Personally, I would have ranked this one higher than another long-necked reptile, but I don't think everyone in the world would have agreed with me there. Either way, Elasmosaurus is one of the coolest looking animals that lived in the waters of the Mesozoic. Sporting that long, sleek neck and hunting fish with those incredibly devilish looking teeth, the Elasmosaurs are probably one of the animals that I'd love to see get featured in a future film the most. They've only made minor appearances here and there in mobile games, but nevertheless, you can't tell me a creature like that wouldn't make for some classic Jurassic scenes in the franchise. The neck alone could grow to around 20 feet in length, and personally, I think they'd be great for a scene with blood in the water. Number 5. Deinosuchus. I've actually talked about this elusive animal recently in a video detailing its deleted scene from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, or at least the deleted scene of the skeleton that would have been shown in a swamp in the film. The main appeal that I think Deinosuchus has is its size. While not the biggest prehistoric crocodilian, it was most definitely one of the more modern-looking creatures from InGen. Essentially, it played the role of a giant crocodile, most notably in the Lost World Jurassic Park's arcade game from the late 90s. The impact it left on fans wasn't exactly that special back in the day, but it would get some more importance later on in the Jurassic World films, mainly due to the fact that its DNA is what gives the Indominus Rex its bizarre reptilian teeth. Number 4. Plesiosaurus. Similar to Ichthyosaurus, the Plesiosaurus actually made a small appearance in the storyboards to Jurassic World, but even long before that, it was planned to be included in the cancelled animated series that was supposed to come out after the first movie. While nowhere near as intimidating in the face compared to something like the Elasmosaur, the Plesiosaurus still makes up for the lack of the scare factor by having one hell of a beautiful body. The long neck, the reptilian head, and flippers make up one of the most iconic looking animals in the entire prehistoric library. I'm confident that every Jurassic fan out there would love to have a scene depicting a plesiosaur in a future Jurassic movie, and I can't really blame them. Whether or not they'll eventually appear is anyone's guess, but for now, I absolutely have to include it in the top 5 of this list, at the very least. Number 3. Tylosaurus. Making its most noteworthy appearance in Jurassic Park the game, the Tylosaurus was a really unique looking mosasaur that we hadn't really ever seen before. The forked tongue, ridged back, and unique color pattern on its skin made for a pretty fun inclusion into the canon of that story. Plus, it takes part in a really thrilling aquarium sequence that I think would be excellent in live action. Outside of the films, I think the Tylosaurus is the one animal that's made the coolest impression on the Jurassic Park franchise. While other creatures on this list are certainly up there in terms of fun and enjoyment for me, the Tylosaurus brings a whole lot more to the table by having its creation being a secret that was planned for the second phase of the Jurassic Park experience. Just small details that help build up on the lore go a really long way in my opinion. And you can't really say such stuff exists for any of the other entries that have come before it. So the Tylo is definitely something that I think deserves respect in the wider franchise. Number 2. Spinosaurus. The flagship animal for Jurassic Park 3 is possibly the coolest aquatic-based dinosaur that ever lived. It's got those hooked claws, an elongated snout like its cousins, Baryonyx and Suchomimus, but it's also got that massive sail on its back that helps it stand out from everyone else. This dinosaur is also incredibly huge, and it happens to be the biggest land-based theropod in the fossil record. Taking part in a really well-done boat attack scene in the third film, Spinosaurus has absolutely proved itself to be really effective in thrilling aquatic scenarios. This is where I think JP3 utilized the animal's physical attributes the best, and I really hope we get to see something similar to this in a future Jurassic story. Now, if they only didn't cut away to Barney every few seconds. And finally, number 1, the Mosasaurus. There was no way that I couldn't put this guy at the top of the list. The Mosasaurus in the Jurassic World movies is by far the most recognizable aquatic animal in the entire franchise. It's had memorable scenes in more than one film now, and is poised to make its return in Jurassic World 3. It's also by far the biggest animal on this list, with some estimates for the Fallen Kingdom appearance sizing up to be around the 100-foot mark. And don't even get me started on that cancelled whaling ship attack that they had planned for the movie early on. While this prehistoric reptile is definitely way bigger than what it's supposed to be, it still evokes a rather basic understanding of what the real-life animal could have looked like, albeit with a few liberties here and there. Bottom line, I think that the combination of both iconic scenes and the sheer number of those scenes outpaces every other water-based attack or appearance on this list. Although I will be honest and say that if Spinosaurus had at least one more scene where it did something in the water, it would be a good contender for this position as well. But since it doesn't, Mosasaurus is the clear winner in my book. And there you have it. That is my top 10 aquatic dinosaurs and reptiles from the wider Jurassic Park franchise. Now that I've gone through what I personally think of these extinct animals, I'd like to hear what all of your thoughts are on this list, and what your own lists would look like in comparison. Where would you guys rank the Spinosaurus in the franchise? Let me know exactly what your thoughts are on the subject matter in the comments down below. Now before I go, I'd like to thank all of my game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank all of my park workers and InGen hunters as well. It really means the world to me that all of you guys enjoy what I do so much, and I'm extremely thankful to have all of your incredible support. Now I'd like to thank all of you for watching today's video, and hope you all enjoyed the content. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like, and hope that you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in hearing from me again. See you all in the next one, guys, and as always, take it easy.